Sophia returned home that night. Her face lit with a casual smile, as the evening she'd spent with another man was nothing unusual. But I didn't turn the smile. Instead, I met her with a cold stare and a voice sharp with finality. "You have 10 minutes to sign the divorce papers and get out of my house." I said what she hadn't anticipated was the presence of another woman, Adrian's wife, whose arrival turned the night into something she'd never forget. When I first met Sophia, I believed we had something real. She was sharp, ambitious, and magnetic. Everything I ever hoped for in partner. Our lives move at a fast pace. She worked as a financial consultant, and I managed a luxury hospitality brand. We thrived in demanding careers, but always seemed to find our way back to each other, or so I thought. The shift began subtly. Sophia, who had always prioritized our shared dinners, started working late more frequently. I brushed it off, chalking it up to the pressures of our careers. I didn't want to seem paranoid, so I trusted her. Then one night while we watched television, her phone buzzed. She quickly silenced it, chuckled nervously, and flipped the phone face down. "Who's that?" I asked casually. She met my eyes. "Just a client." His being overly persistent. It sounded plausible, but the tension in her shoulders and the death grip on her phone told a different story. Doubt settled in that night and refused to leave. Over the following weeks, the signs multiplied. Her late nights matched up too perfectly. There were more missed calls, more hushed texts, always labeled as work-related. But something inside me knew better. One evening after she'd stepped out for another so-called client meeting, I checked her laptop. She'd forgotten to log out of her email. What I found turned my stomach. Intimate and explicit emails exchanged with a man named Adrian. These weren't harmless flirtations. They detailed their secret meetings at fine restaurants and boutique hotels. Worse still, I knew Adrian. I'd met him before at one of Sophia's work events. The way they'd interacted that night, how they laughed a little too loudly, stood a little too close, all made sense now, but I didn't act right away. I needed more than words on a screen. I hired a private investigator to follow Sophia's movements. In just a few weeks, he gave me everything I needed. Photographs, timestamp videos, receipts. Her betrayal was undeniable. But what struck me hardest was learning that Adrian's wife, Amal, was completely in the dark. I sent her a package anonymously, including every shred of evidence I had. I added a simple note. "You deserve to know. If you want to talk, call me." It wasn't long before she did. Amal was heartbroken, but composed. We met at a quiet cafe where we laid it all out. The deceit, the humiliation, the pain. Her voice trembled, but her resolve was unshaken. "I'm going to confront him," she said. "But I want it to hurt." That fire in her eyes lit something in me. "Then let's do it together," I offered. "Let's make sure they remember this for the rest of their lives." She nodded slowly, a hint of a smile breaking through. "I like your style." For weeks, we orchestrated a confrontation. Everything had to be precise. Sophia had told me she'd be working late on a Saturday. Perfect timing. I already knew she'd be with Adrian and Amal, and I made reservations at the same restaurant ahead of them. We sat in a shadow corner unnoticed and waited. They arrived hand in hand, laughing without a care. I kept my fury in check. We needed the right moment. Once their entrée was served, Amal and I walked to their table. The instant they saw us, their faces dropped. It was a beautiful silence that fell over the room. "Sophia," I said, my voice flat. "You forgot to mention you'd be dining with Adrian tonight." "And you, Adrian," Amal added, her tone icy, "seen I've had a busy schedule." Sophia, flushed with panic. "Jacob, please. I can explain." "You'll have time," I interrupted, placing a folder in front of her. "These are divorce papers. You have 10 minutes to sign them. After that, you're done in my house." "Divorce," she gasped like the word was a foreign language. "You're overreacting." "No, Sophia. What's ridiculous is you thinking I wouldn't figure it out. What's absurd is how easily you threw away our marriage for this." Adrian tried to get up, but Amal pressed her hand firmly on his arm. "You're staying right here," she said. "We're not done yet." She pulled out her own folder and opened it. "This will be on your company's desk Monday morning. Let's see how they feel about their CFO misusing company funds to wine and dyeing his mistress." Adrian's face went pale. "You wouldn't." "Oh, I already have," she replied coldly. Sophia left with nothing but her handbag. By morning, the locks were changed. I had her belongings delivered to her parents. She tried everything. Calls, texts, showing up at my job, but I never responded. The divorce was finalized quickly, and she walked away with far less than she'd expected. As for Adrian, his life unraveled fast. Amal followed through on a threat. The company fired him, and news of the affair spread like wildfire through their community. Amal filed for divorce soon after. Last I heard, he was living alone in a dingy apartment, a far cry from the luxury he once flaunted. Amo and I remained in contact. In the beginning, it was for support, helping one another piece our lives back together. But in time, it became something more. Mutual understanding, respect, and peace. Betrayal cuts deep, but sometimes it clears a path to reclaiming your strength. Truth isn't just about bringing the lies to light. It's about ensuring those responsible never forget the damage they caused. In the end, justice isn't always about revenge. Sometimes it's about standing tall in the ruins and knowing you survive with your dignity intact.